culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on The Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. Good morning, sunshine. We've got a bit to discuss in today's episode of the Morning Report. I actually, not even that long ago, finished watching Farrah Abraham's episode of Secrets of Celebrity X Tapes, and it was about as believable as you would imagine, right? So for a long time, Farrah has been trying to convince us that she was exploited and forced to release her tape because it was going to be leaked behind her back. But the whole behind the scenes info on that thing just does not add up. And she's still maintaining that kind of positioning in the documentary. We've got her father weighing in, Dr. Drew weighs in, a couple of other corn stars weigh in, somebody who was her manager from Vivid Entertainment, which is the company that sells and markets these fake celebrity X tape. He's also weighing in and calling her out. Like, there's a whole lot going on in this documentary. I really do hope that you guys got the opportunity to watch it. Again, it does play on A&E Network. They do the episodes every single Monday. So I think this upcoming one is Mimi Faust's tapes. Do y'all remember her with the shower rod or something like that? That's coming up, right? And then, of course, we're also going to get into Kail Lowry heading to Texas to confront her dying father, Meat Locker Ray, about why he was absent in her life and basically let her just grow up suffering with her mom, Boozy Susie. Okay, so I'm really looking forward to getting into today's stories with you guys. If you find yourself enjoying today's episode of the Morning Report, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up so YouTube knows you enjoy my content. Now, let's see who we've got joining us for today's episode of the show. We've got Gala here. Good morning, Kahara, little Miss Fluffy as well. The College Quarter is making me feel like there's not enough coffee or tea in the world. Ooh, hang in there. What are we, Q3 right now, heading into Q4? December. I think we're in Q4. Did we not just start? Like, you're almost there. Hang in there. Good morning, Ronnie, Venetia, Amelia, Cami, TGIF to you guys. Indeed. I actually even forgot that it was freaking Friday. I've been feeling so disoriented this week, you guys. Truly. So I'm like, what day of the week is it, you guys? AJ Dash, good morning, everybody. It's Friday. I'm at work. And why is Farrah not in the shadow realm, please? Well, listen, we've got a lot to talk about when it comes to her. I really, truly believe that the truth will set you free. Like, she has been working so hard for like 12 years, maybe 13, to convince us that that tape was not done on purpose. And she just looks crazier and crazier every time she opens up her mouth about it. And I hate that for her, and I hate that for us too. Good morning, Acacia. 2 snaps as well. Good morning, Lynn. Thanks so much for staying up late for us on this lovely Friday. Bonjour, Malene. So nice to see you again, Boo. Kristen, Jaleesa, Lucky. Gail is back. Nice to see you back as well, Gail. Gwen, Zebra Humor, Romel as well. So nice to see you guys. Really looking forward to digging into the episode. We've also got Mocha, Summer Breeze, and so many more. Thank y'all for joining, you guys. Do you guys remember how I told y'all yesterday that you should download get a free account on Philo if you're American anyway for 30 days. So you can watch all of these good documentaries they have on their networks. The A&E channel is one of those channels, right? So I finally got to watch this week's episode of Secrets of Celebrity X Tapes. And boy, oh boy, was it ever interesting. I got to be honest with you guys. It's about an hour long, and that hour truly flew by. And I think it's because I've been following, or you guys too. I think this is going to be the same case for you guys. We've been following Farrah's story for like 12, 13, 14, maybe even 15 years now. Yeah, definitely over 15 years now, right? So just to see a little bit more about her on her own kind of like episode or something of a documentary was very, very interesting. And I do also have to admit that I was very fascinated by like her latest form as well, right? One thing about Farrah is you never know what she's going to look like from one day, week, month, or whatever to another. So this is the latest version of Farrah. I do have to say I like the dark hair on her, but I think my favorite Farrah is when she has like that caramel brown hair with some lighter blonde extensions. I feel like that's something that really complements her skin tone. She's got a very beautiful olive skin tone. Again, I do like this dark hair on her. However, I do feel like it is a little bit harsh for her skin tone. I really love her with the kind of caramel poppin' thing. So she reveals some stuff about her upbringing that's not going to surprise anybody, right? So a lot of times when parents are overly strict or religious or whatever, sometimes they impose very, very harsh rules on their children surrounding sex, right? And particularly sex education. And that is something that Farrah told us about in her documentary. She said that her parents were so religious that they did not even allow her to take sex ed in school. And what happens when you're not giving any kind of education about sex, reproduction, pregnancy, you know what I mean? Like anything, STDs, things like that. And you're a child and your hormones are getting crazy, you know, you're going to be doing it, maybe, right? Most likely, with or without this information. And when you're doing it without this information, you are more likely to fall into the dark side of all of this stuff, right? If you're not really aware of STDs and whatnot, you're not going to take protection as seriously as you should. If you're not really aware about pregnancy, how that happens, you're not going to take the right precautions that can help stop you from becoming pregnant, right? And so that is how Farrah wound up in the situation that she did, pregnant at 15, 16 years old. So we already know that Farrah is, again, no longer on speaking terms with her father, Michael. However, he did pop up, him and his little sweat stains, in this documentary, and he was very sympathetic towards her. He's, you know, like he's not letting the fact that she cut him out of her life again hinder him from supporting her on this in this documentary. And that's something that I really loved about him. Do you guys know where to find Michael these days? He used to have like an Instagram. Does he have I have to look because he used to have a Twitter, right? And before I stopped using Twitter, like I saw that his account got suspended or something, but I kind of want to reach out to him, get some more information from this guy. So maybe I should, hang on, let me make a memo to myself. I have to reach out to Michael Abraham, figure out where I can find him because he seems to be a very, very interesting person, right? Her mother, Deborah, however, was not present for this documentary. And Michael kind of talked about how Deborah would be a little bit violent towards Farrah when Farrah was growing up. And he didn't just talk about it, but he teared up about it because it was something that really upset him a lot, right? And so we saw some examples of that. Do you guys remember when she was accusing Farrah in the car? Farrah was pregnant and Farrah was trying to buy a car and it was just this whole thing. And Deborah did not like the car that Farrah wanted to buy. This was frustrating Farrah. And she accused Farrah of having a belligerent antichrist attitude, and she hits her in the shoulder, right? Then there was another moment that was captured and it went viral on TMZ where they were in the house together. Sophia was there as well. Sophia was a little baby at this time, and they were arguing in the kitchen, and Deborah like punched Farrah in the face. And then apparently she threw a t-shirt at Sophia's head, and Farrah called the police. The 911 audio was released. You guys remember this, right? The 911 audio tape was released. And then when the police showed up to the house, there was Deborah, 2 knives in her hands. She says because she was cooking, right? Who doesn't cut their fruits and vegetables and their meats with 2 knives at the same time? Boom, 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 right? And she wouldn't drop them down, right? So those are 2 examples of violence that we've seen. But apparently there were other moments like that as well. And that made Michael very emotional. But here's my thing. You know, why are you crying about this? When it seems like this was something that was okay to you. You didn't snatch up your daughter, go to the authorities and protect her and do the whole single dad sort of situation. You left her in this kind of situation, right? But I digress. Listen, I don't want to go off too much on a tangent, but just saying, right? Dr. Drew was also rather sympathetic to Farrah in this documentary. He wants us to keep in mind that this woman is mentally ill and she is emotionally ill, right? And that influences the sorts of decisions that she makes. And that's why her decisions do not make sense. And I would also go a step further and say that that is why her stories do not make sense. Whatever Farrah is trying to convince us about this X tape is just not working because it does not make any kind of sense. She's trying to tell us, oh, like, and she's maintained this story for years. You've heard it, but let me just repeat it again. I was in the best shape of my life. I was 18 years old. I got my body back after having a baby. And I was depressed. So it's only natural that you cheer yourself up and you commemorate like the hotness, right? By hiring a corn star, hiring video people from the adult industry, and shooting your own tape. It doesn't make any sense, Farrah. It truly doesn't. But like Dr. Drew says, she's unwell across the board. And that's why nothing that comes out of her mouth really kind of resonates with people. And we all kind of just scratch our heads whenever she talks. She did also kind of, at the same time, admit that she got involved with a certain ex-adult star named Gina Rodriguez, who is the one who convinced her to do the tape. But she doesn't say like that this was something that they decided to do together or whatever. She says that Gina manipulated her into doing it. But come on now. Come on. Who's really buying this? Hey, Matt, nice to see you. This is called Secrets of Celebrity X Tapes. It airs on A&E, and Farrah's episode was the one that just aired this past Monday. You can stream this on Philo. I have a link in the description box. Let me see. Here it is. The Nightbot puts it up every once in a while. If you hit this link and you're American, you can sign up for a free 30-day trial of Philo to watch this documentary or any other documentary that they have from A&E, Showcase, TLC, all sorts of other different channels as well, okay? Malen says, I feel like Deborah controlled Michael and Farrah with an iron fist. She seemed nuts. Nuttier than squirrel-ish, that is for sure. But I wish that Michael would have taken his daughter and gotten the hell out of there, especially when he saw that violence was involved. Lynn says Farrah didn't know Michael was part of the documentary until she saw the preview for the show. That's the thing about these producers and whatnot. They will play you. She was just doing this thing thinking it was just her from the family talking about it. But like, no, they had Michael, they had her ex-manager, and she really victimizes herself in every single situation. We're going to get into more of that later. But speaking of the manager, he was from Vivid Entertainment, which is the biggest adult celebrity tape company and whatnot. And so she hired him. The guy tells this story. And then he was supposed to help make her a star off with this tape. And she was paying him the big bucks. He said she didn't even mind paying the big bucks. That's how bad she wanted to be a star. But then when Farrah tells the story, he took advantage of me. I didn't want this. Girl, please. It is so, so, so annoying. And you remember that, Acacia? Me too. She looked just, and you know, that's the thing about Deborah. She was so strange. I don't know what I would describe her personality type as. I could actually see why Farrah would be so aggravated with her all the time. She seems like somebody who tries purposely to get under your skin and seem calm while doing it so that you seem absolutely nuts. You know what I mean? Which is just so freaking annoying. And I agree with you, Jamie. By the way, Jamie, can I ask you what lip color this is? Please. I really like it. It looks really nice on you. And I kind of want to try it too, girl. Ramster says she can't make sense on Dr. Phil either. And they showed some clips of that. Like, she was trying to say the same thing. Dr. Drew was not buying it. He kept pushing her into a corner. And she said she wanted to talk about something else. He said, no, baby girl, we're here to talk about your tape. So I'm going to ask you questions until this makes sense. Summer Breeze says, on Drewski's show, she said she has no knowledge of this tape. Right. Like, nothing of this makes sense. So you hired this porn star, you hired these professional camera people, but you had no idea about this. Like, what? Ronnie says she wanted it then and is now trying to make it look differently. Exactly. And mind you, James Dean never put this out. James Dean just got his money and bounced. He is a professional, and that is why she hired him for this professional tape that was meant to be leaked. Yet she acts like this was leaked by who leaked it. She never actually accuses anybody of leaking it. Ridiculous. Hey, Sammy, she's driving to Vegas. Ooh la la, have a safe drive, Sammy. What are you going to be up to in Vegas over there? Is it a girls' weekend? Is it a bachelorette party? Just vibes? What's going on in Vegas? Have a great time. Cammy says, I don't know what Derek saw in her in high school. Damn. Well, listen, that's the thing. When you're young and you're not really looking like, much further than the next day or whatever, you just see your pretty face and you're like, hell yeah, why not? Why not? Right. And no problem, Matt. I hope you get to tune into it. It was actually really, really interesting. And they got a bunch of other celebrities as well. I forget who the other ones were, but I found the Farrah episode in particular to be interesting. And speaking of Farrah episode, can somebody help me know or understand what happened to Farrah's Pop the Balloon episode? Because she was supposed to appear on that show, but I don't remember hearing anything about her episode. I heard about Johnny Bananas and some other people, but I didn't see Farrah's episode of the show. So, hey, Summer Breeze, my parents were like that too. My stepmom controlled my dad. He didn't breathe without her permission. Isn't that so sad? And it's your dad allowing this random woman to come and like dictate things and just put you in a bad position. I hate that. I truly, truly freaking hate that. That's not okay. Like, stand up for your damn child. I'm so sorry you went through that, Summer Breeze. Money Swipers. Oh, I love your new photo. So pretty. As Deborah she hasn't released a song in quite a while, but I wouldn't be surprised if she decides to assault our ears again soon. Just saying. Zebra Humor says that she's a fan, by the way. She was amazing. Apparently, girl, I don't know about that, but okay. And I'm so sad that you went through the same thing as Summer Breeze. It's really, really sad when, people allow for their boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever, the step parents to come and kind of F things up with their kids and their family and whatnot. It really, really sucks. So I was really irritated when I was hearing Michael crying about it. Like, sorry, you should have acted. You should have stood there for your daughter, because look at the way that she turned out now. Farrah is so full of trauma and just a lot of bad things have happened to that girl. You can just tell based on the way that she is and whatnot. And I feel like she should have been protected from everything it is that she went through. However, at the same time, I do think that Michael is responsible for some things. He always gave off really creepy, weird vibes. And there's actually a moment in this documentary where he says that like guys would start coming up to him and telling him that, like, hey, you must be Farrah Abraham's dad. I saw your daughter naked. I saw her tape. And so he would respond to them, oh, I hope you enjoyed it, and walk away. And I'm like, that's weird. Is that a weird thing? Like, that's weird, right? Because he's saying it like it's this big joke. I'm like, that's very weird. I don't know. Y'all tell me, but I think that guy's creepy. I think he's very weird. And wasn't it leaked by somebody that this guy had like these weird kind of like kinks or something like that? And, I don't want to get into what they were. I don't want to like accidentally, say the wrong thing, but from what I'm remembering, and if I'm remembering correctly, very, very weird, creepy things that would lead me to believe that he also had a hand in some of Farrah's issues. Just saying, right? So Farrah, at that point in her life, when she was filming that tape, she was somewhat close to Michael, because she did call him before the tape came out and tell him that that's what happened. She filmed it and it is going to come out. And her ex-manager, the guy that I was telling you guys about earlier, he does not like her. His name is Kevin Blatt, and he is a celebrity X tape broker. And he was at Vivid Entertainment. And he was like, I told Farrah when she tried to book me that I charged the big bucks. And she said, okay, sure, whatever. Because she was making money. She made over $1 million from that tape just to sell it off. That's not counting everything else she did. And so he wanted to help her continue to capitalize. And he was telling her, do not give free interviews. Get paid for your interviews, no matter the platform. I'm going to handle that for you. Don't you worry. And Farrah said, sure. And so this guy, he's browsing the news. And what does he see? Farrah doing interviews for TMZ for free, when he knew that he could have gotten them to pay her thousands of dollars for the interview. So he called her up, super pissed off, told her about it. And then he eventually had to fire her because she was so obsessed with being famous that she was not strategically making money the way that he wanted her to make money, and putting herself like in this kind of position that would sell the story that this was an accidental leak and not something that was done on purpose. And so when Farrah tells her side, she's like, oh, he stole money from me. He wasn't a good person. I had to part ways with him. And I'm sorry, but I do not trust Farrah as far as I can throw her. So just saying, I have to go ahead and believe his side of the story. And on top of that, she goes, yeah, like this guy wanted to capitalize off my tape. Girl, you went and hired him from Vivid Entertainment. That is his job as a manager. So nothing that this girl says adds up. And that's something that's just so fascinating about this, right? They just let her talk, and it was a whole bunch of nonsense. And so at this point, you get a bunch of other like porn stars and whatnot, talking about why they dislike Farrah and she's not liked in the industry. So we all know that after the tape came out, she went on to do a lot of other things. So she would sell molds of her coochie, of her booty. She was selling other toys, adult toys. She also was doing webcamming and whatnot, all sorts of things in that industry. I think she even had an inflatable doll once upon a time. And those people said that they do not like her because she wanted to come into this industry, make all of this money off of a basis of a lie. They all said that they do not believe that she was ever dating James Dean and that she happened to hire this film crew to film her body. They say it's a crock of crap. And then she kind of craps on the industry, makes her money, and walks out and pretends she's not like an adult actor. They said, like, you have to admit that that's what you are, or we're not going to respect you here, which, you know what, I think is absolutely fair. And then some of the journalists also go as far as to say that Farrah actually single-handedly ruined the adult industry in the celebrity world. You know how Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian, and a couple other people, they came out with these tapes and these kind of more plausible stories behind them. Well, the Farrah story was just so unbelievable that it never worked again as a platform for launching yourself towards superstardom. Because at that point, people were like, okay, all of this is BS. There were so many documentaries that came out about how all of these celebrity tapes being leaked is a bunch of BS. And they're all working with managers behind the scenes in order to elevate their star power and whatnot. And so another thing that's really funny about it is you'd have Farrah walking around with people like Stephen Hirsch, who are, you know, big executives in the celebrity adult world. And he's doing these interviews for like TMZ, and they've obviously called TMZ to talk to them. And he's saying things like, oh, I saw her tape. I've seen over an hour of it. The footage is amazing. We're going to be a big star with this. And she's still trying to act like this is this innocent thing. She didn't want to get out. And she's just standing there next to him. Like, it's all so freaking ridiculous. It truly, truly is. And yeah, you know, and I never even really thought about it, but it is true that she kind of ruined the celebrity X tape, get famous, more famous anyway, sort of trope. Because who have you really seen do that besides her, or sorry, after her? I know there was Mimi Foss who did that thing with the shower rod or whatever that went viral, but you haven't really seen it like it was before she came around, right? And it is true, Lynn, she really, really was so beautiful at a certain point. Yes, I did see that. You know, the thing about Kalia, the thing about Ray J, he's unhinged at this point. I look at the news about him, I say, all right, you know, and I keep it moving because he just yabba dabba 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 da, you know, like he's lost the plot a long time ago. You know who he reminds me of? Raven Simone's ex co-star, Orlando Brown. I put those two in the same category. And I agree, Gail. You know, it's really, really sad because you guys know there was an era where she was so pretty. And y'all know I like a little nip and tuck, right? Like the era where I found her to be so pretty was the one where we were seeing her with that blonde wig and her mom started dating that doctor guy. And I thought she looked absolutely fantastic. And, you know, honestly, here you see, if you really look in the cheek area, I don't know if it's implants or filler, but like they're really overpowering her face. But if she even just toned that down, she can, you know, go back to looking really, really, really beautiful. Because I think not all is lost here. I think it's just the cheeks that are way too overwhelming for her face and make her look about 20 years older than she is. But I will say she's got fantastic style. I really, really do love this purple outfit on her. I think it looks very elegant. I think it looks very chic. It's giving my rich Miami housewife vibes to me personally. So, you know, going back to her dad giving creepy vibes. Well, it was said, well, Farrah tells us that her father's advice to her when she told him about the tape was to make as much money in the adult world as possible while the hype is still there. And then he says something else, which is creepy. Don't forget, the other thing he said that was creepy earlier on in the documentary was that men would come up to him and like brag about seeing his daughter naked and getting railed in the booty. He was like, oh, I hope you enjoyed it. Well, now here he says, yeah, I told Farrah to make as much money as possible in that, you know, adult world. I also even suggested maybe coming out with my own doll. Huh. That's weird. That's also weird, isn't it? I'm sorry, y'all. This guy's very, very weird. And I think it was his ex-girlfriend that came out with. Does anybody else remember that? Or am I imagining things? Was it his ex-girlfriend or somebody who said the stuff, the type of corn that this guy likes to watch, or the type of things he likes to role play? Like, there was something that came out about this guy, and some of the stuff was very, very eyebrow raising, especially when you factor in all of the other things about him, his relationship with Farrah, and everything that are eyebrow raising. But again, I could be imagining things. Am I imagining things, or did this happen? Mm-mm-mm. And yeah, money swipers, her tape was indeed called a backdoor teen mom. Imagine the dad being like, I want my own X toy. Now that you have one, let's do daddy daughter X toy type things. Like, very, very strange. Keep an eye on that guy, guys. Truly. Like I said, Farrah made a lot of money. She made about $1 million just for the tape alone. And I think that there were maybe, some bonuses, some royalties, some things like that associated with the tape. And then, of course, she was doing club appearances. She was selling things. Like, she really was out there. And so I think she's definitely made several $1 million, especially up until now, because she's still in that world, right? And then here's one thing, though, that's really sad, is that Farrah says that she just has always been depressed and unhappy. And it feels like this has been going on since we met her on MTV. She says for 14 years, and we've known her for about 15, 16. She's just been depressed. She's been unhappy, and she has tried to delete herself. And, that makes me really sad for her. It really, really does. I really just, again, I really do think that the truth will set Farrah free. I think that trying to upkeep this big lie that nobody's buying is also troubling to her. I think she should be honest. I thought she was going to be honest and finally say, hey, listen, I wanted to be a bigger star. I wanted to get out of that like teeny whatever demographic. I wanted to show I'm an adult. I do adult things, with my butt and whatnot. Like, just say that that's what you wanted to do, right? But no, she's like spreading this lie, and like people are kind of like laughing at it. Like, that would have an effect on your psyche, right? And she also talked about the rejection from the adult industry taking a huge toll on her. Well, you're rejected from there because you're lying. You're using their industry to make money while trying to distance yourself from being a corn star. That's pissing them off. Tell the truth. Tell the truth and you will be liked. Tell the truth and you will be accepted, right? And again, I do think a lot of strange things happened in her family. We know her mom was violent towards her, and we know her dad is a little bit creepy. So I really, 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 really feel like just telling the truth about these things, about her life and everything, will set her free. I really do. Obviously, she doesn't have to, right? Because this is going to be a very painful thing for her. However, I do think that it would help her. I really, really do. Just saying. Trip says, my parents would have disowned me and tried to erase me from their history. Same here. My dad sure as hell would not be saying, Grace, go release this, go release that, go get yourself this blow up doll, go get molds of your like, huh? He'd be whooping my ass. I'd be dead. Lynn says, I always wonder how she would be if Derek was still here. That's a good question. Honestly, I feel like their relationship would have been a Macy Ryan or, like Janelle Andrew. Like, here's the thing about teenage fathers. 9 times out of 10, they don't step up, right? Or if they do, it's very, very like little, to the point where it just frustrates the mom and she just does it all, And on top of that, I think she tries to paint this love of my life. Everything was perfect. Meanwhile, they were broken up when she was pregnant. She didn't even want him to know she was pregnant. So I think she would have been playing games with him if she had the baby and he was alive. I think she would have been doing everything she could if he even wanted to be involved, right? Because again, teenage fathers, sorry, but more often than not, they ain't ish. So if he wanted to be present, right, that's already a 50-50 thing. She might have cut him out of the baby's life. You be with me or you don't get to see this child type stuff, right? She did not want him to know that that she was even pregnant. So I just be careful with the way that she rewrites history about him. Just saying, I'm not trying to be harsh, but it's true. When you watch the 16 and Pregnant episode, she just was not effing with him like that. Money Swiper says, I believe it when Derek died. She's been very depressed and a teen The dad dies in a crash right before the baby's born, and then her parents, exactly. And didn't her parents like not want her to go to the funeral too? Like, there's a lot of like very weird stuff going on with the way that the parents were towards Derek. I believe her dad even like beat up Derek at a certain point. Like, there's some things, that have been told here and there, but it's just been so long. I think, oh no, John Jeffree Star. Thank you, girl, Jamie. Damn it. But I like it on you. It looks really, really, really good. There's just so many like stories and dynamics and whatnot at play there. And they've been told a lot over the years, but it's been several years. It's been like almost 2 decades at this point, right? That it's hard to remember exactly everything that's gone down. When he says it would have been toxic because Farrah and her family were toxic on her 16th and pregnant, she shut him out. Exactly. And I agree. She uses him for a sympathy card. It's sad what happened, and I'm sure it's traumatic to her. Absolutely. However, don't forget the way she was treating him when he was alive. Just saying. So that essentially ended Farrah's documentary. Again, you can watch that on the A&E channel. I have an affiliate link in the description box of this video or of this live that you can use to watch on Philo for free for 30 days. They've also got TLC. So if you want to watch 90 Day Fiance, 600 Pound Life, that type of stuff. Or they've also got what is that? We TV, the Braxtons is coming back soon. You can watch that there. The Chrisleys just aired. You can watch that there. Life After Lockup, all those good things. 30 days free over on Philo, you guys. Just saying. And I also agree, money swipers. Farrah treats a lot of people terrible. Remember, she didn't let the crew use the bathroom. I remember that Ashley breaking that story. And at first I was like, this is not possible. Who would do that? She would have nothing without these crew, like coming here, telling her story. They're away from their family and friends, like to go sit here, film this psycho. And she's not letting them use their bathroom. I'm like, huh? And then sure enough, in one of her final seasons of the show, what do you see? A porta potty in her driveway, because truly she was not allowing these people to use her bathroom. The freaking witch that she is. Winnie the Cat says, look at how she treated Simon. Yup, it likely would have been like that. Yeah. And don't forget, remember when she was dating that guy? I forget his name, but he had her meet his father and his stepmother. And his stepmother was in her 40s and she didn't have any kids. And Farrah's like, oh, okay, well, I guess it's too late for you. You're going to be a lone bird. That's how she would have been, y'all. Do not believe her as she rewrites history, talking about he's the love of my life. He would have been perfect. We would have been married. Weren't you trying to buy your own engagement ring, for Simon to make him propose to you and he didn't want nothing to do with that? Weren't you trying to get engaged to that guy just before you insulted or even after you insulted his stepmother? You said waitings for ugly girls and you're trying to get engaged within like a couple months of dating and stuff. I'm sorry, it would have been the same, right? Winnie the Cat says that his name was Daniel and that was in Texas. That was so crazy. It truly was absolutely nuts. It feels like a fever dream. Mocha Madness says Derek was the boyfriend of her friend. Oh, and she was creeping with him, stole him from the best friend by getting pregnant. And I think that's why his family wanted a DNA test done. Oh, these two were trifling. Ouch. Damn. I had no idea it went down like that. Thanks for the tea, Mocha Madness. Whew. Yikes. People are crazy. I'm telling you. People are absolutely crazy. Imagine trying to compete for a man. Whoa. Can't relate past the age of I don't know. But you know what? She was young. She was a teenager. That's that stuff you do in those teenage years and you learn from it. And when you become grown, you don't do that type of stuff no more. Lord. My goodness gracious. We've got a super chat here. Thanks so much for your super chat, Money Swipers. She says, Grace, I love your morning shows. Well, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be back in action, you guys. It feels so good to be back here with you guys talking about what's going on in the celebrity world. And isn't it crazy? The way that Mocha came in here, right? Money Swipers and Jaleesa, she came in here, boom, like it was the most casual scoop of all. Can I ask you, Mocha Madness, where did you get this from? Is it from her book? Because I did try to read that book. My channel members can attest to this. We tried to read that book, My Teenage Dream Ended, and we were melting. Our brains were melting because it was so hard to read. Like, were you able to decipher it? Is that what you did? Because I'm so curious about this, G. Gwen says, yeah, watching Farrah try to date gave me secondhand embarrassment so hard. Exactly. I feel bad for laughing at her because it's very obvious that something is wrong up here. I don't know what it is, but it's so crazy watching her try to interact with people and whatnot because she just does not understand how to, and it's a little bit crazy, right? Woody the cat says there was also I remember Shaq. She was dating that black guy. I was like, oh damn. He was a very handsome man. He was very handsome. I remember he had a beautiful smile, beautiful eyes as well. I was just really surprised by it because, and isn't Farrah kind of like a racist? Because I remember her saying some racist stuff to Ocho Cinco's mom on Family Boot Camp or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it is that she said to her. I remember when she was fighting with Nicki Minaj as well. She was calling her all kinds of monkey and stuff. I hear you. Okay, girl. Huh. Just saying, whenever people go, oh, this person's not racist, they have a black boyfriend, black girlfriend, whatever. Let Farrah be an example to you guys. Let Farrah be an example to you guys of how many races love themselves some black folks. Just saying. We've got another super chat. Thank you so much, Acacia. Acacia says, glad you're back, Grace. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I love that. Thank you so much, Acacia. I'm so happy to be back. Y'all are really helping to lift my spirits. Getting back into the swing of things with the morning report has been so helpful to me. So thank y'all so much for being here as well. And happy Friday to you guys. I can't believe it's already almost the weekend. You guys want to know what I'm doing? I don't know if any of you guys are in Paris right now, but if you're in Paris, I'm going to Montmartre tonight. Let me see what it's called. They're doing some kind of festival over there. It is called, they're calling it Le Village Festif. So it's like live bands, like traditional local food. Like it's this whole kind of like a fair sort of a vibe up there in Montmartre. So I'm really excited to be doing that. I hope you guys have some good weekend plans coming up too. I'm doing that tonight. And then tomorrow I'm going to do an expo on like the history of rock and roll. That's going to be in the 7th arrondissement. And really just trying to get back out there because this week all I did was sleep, y'all. Sleep and cry. But I'm getting there, y'all. I'm really, really getting there. Faye says, good morning. Sorry I'm late. Starting from the beginning. Hey, Faye. So happy to see you as part of the Playback Posse. Nice to see you, boo. Can I ask you, Faye, do people call you morally corrupt when they meet you? Because every time I see the name Faye these days, thanks to Kail, I'm thinking the morally corrupt Faye Resnick. So I'm wondering if you get that from people. I know you're not morally corrupt, though, but I'm just curious about it. I've been watching with, or do you mean Pat Sajak, the guy from Wheel of Fortune? Oh, I love that show. That's like one show I would love to compete on. Carolina. You know how much I love this name? Y'all know I'm pretty like 50-50 on having kids, but I always said if I have a girl, I would love the name Carolina. I think it is absolutely freaking beautiful. I love the way it sounds in Spanish, French, and Italian as well. I think it's so beautiful. I think you're the first Carolina that I see on my channel. I'm so excited. Wow, Carolina Morales. What a beautiful name, girl. Your parents really cook with that. They really cook with that. Just saying. Listen, I've been trying to get into this Kail story for a while, but y'all are I'm just having such a good time chatting with you guys here. And y'all know me. I get distracted very easily. I am like a freaking squirrel or something like that. Well, who is Pat Sajak? Because I thought you guys were talking about Pat Sajak from Wheel of Fortune. Who is that? Gwen says it's hard to feel bad for Farrah because she's so dang mean. She rarely admits fault either. I just wish, exactly, she's not admitting even in this thing. You did this on purpose. You wanted to make the money. You wanted to be more relevant. Admit it. That's all you have to do for people to accept you and what you did. You have the right to do it, Farrah. Just admit that that's what you did, right? And I 1,000% agree. Hey, Jody, nice to see you, boo. I'll be watching from the bushes, putting my daughters to bed together. Well, good night to your daughters, Jody. Nice to see you tuning in from the bushes, girl. So nice to see you. Now, you guys, why don't we get into that Kail story, all right? So, like I said, our girl was on a mission. She went to Texas. Y'all know her father, Meat Locker Ray, he's dying. He is currently in hospice. I forgot what he's got going on health-wise, but it's not looking good. It doesn't look like he's going to be amongst us much longer, unfortunately. And so Kail said, This is the only chance that I'll have to get answers to all of the questions I have in life. And this is something she's been discussing across her podcasts for quite a while now. And in the most recent episode of Coffee Convos this week, she describes what went down when she actually got to go over there. It's so in typical Kail fashion. And again, I cannot blame her for this. I would feel the same way going up there. She went in with with a chip on her shoulder. Who wouldn't, right? This is a deadbeat man who just was not there for her, and he could have been there for her, to her knowledge and everything. And so she wants answers for why he just never even tried to step up and be a father when he decided to create her, right? And so, of course, she decided to record some audio of this interview. She's calling it Deathbed Confessions, which I find to be a little bit morbid and dismissive of the situation, a little bit weird, but it makes sense to me that she doesn't have an emotional connection to her father. She doesn't really care all that much because her father kind of was dead throughout her entire life, right? So it's kind of like, all right, well, now since you're really dying for real, let's monetize this, let's get these answers that I need. She did go over there with her sister as well. Do you guys remember? We saw her sister very, very briefly on Teen Mom. Then they fell out because her sister, the witch that she is, she got bit by a dog when she was supposed to visit Kail, and she wasn't able to visit her because she was in the hospital getting stitches, and Kail was pissed off and she cut communication with her and called her selfish. Well, now they've made up. And I wish I were joking, but that's really truly what happened. She was pissed off that her sister got bit by a dog. And so she decided to cut her out of her life. So what happened? So when Kail left the hospital, she did actually leave feeling a lot of empathy for Meat Locker Ray. And she says that he told her that he was born with brain damage, like something happened during the birth that impacted his brain. And that's why he's so nonchalant about everything. And, like when he talks about just not being present in her life and not really caring about reaching out to her, all of this apparently can be attributed to some brain issues that he got from birth. And it just makes him apathetic in general. So when she asks, like, oh, did you love my mom or my sister's mom? Like, were these real relationships? He's like, yeah. Did you want to divorce my mom? Oh, not really. Like, just weird. Like, there's no emotion coming out of this man at all. So she also found out something that was very surprising to her, which was that her dad actually did fight for her for the first 2 years of her life. He was at every single court date and everything. But then eventually there was an order saying that he had to stay away from her. But I'm curious about what that order is. And y'all know I've been on this Vanderpump Rules rewatch, and I'm on season 8 or 9. I don't know where it is, but Sheena just had Brock's baby. And Brock is trying to explain away the fact that he left his children in Australia and there was an order against him because he beat up the mother of his children, right? So he's like, oh, like she's trying to keep the kids away from me. Oh, why? Well, I hit her. It was the heat of a moment. I was young, that sort of thing. And then they say, okay, well, what about the kids? Like, why can't you see the kids? Oh, like she's keeping them. No, the real answer is he wasn't paying child support type stuff, right? So I'm curious, are we glossing over why Meat Locker Ray had an order against him, barring him from seeing his own child? I feel like there's something big there that was not mentioned, but I digress. And so he said that at that point, there wasn't much that he could do. He tried to call and stay in contact with Susie, but Susie was keeping Kail from him. Susie had told Kail that she had no connection or no communication with this guy, but apparently she actually did, you guys. And she actually even called him when Kail went over to Texas to visit him for the first time and everything. And so Kail was really pissed off to find that out. And her mom was also moving around a lot, like kind of like bouncing around with people. So it was very difficult to be able to track her down. And don't forget, cell phones were not a thing in this era. So Kail is like, okay, well, what I've realized from my conversation with him is that I was holding him to communication standards of today, where we all have like these phones, right? We're all like attached to these phones and whatnot. But at the time, like we were using the pay phones, like we had maybe one big, wall mounted phone in the house or a big, ring, type thing in the house or whatever, but that's not what it was like back then type thing. I was like, you know what, that's actually really big of you to admit, because it's true. Sometimes you do forget about the standards of the past. Even when people watch like past content and whatnot, they're looking at it through the lens of today, right? So you do have to remember that the past was very, very different from today. And so another thing that was really interesting that I kind of didn't understand either was that the father kind of felt as though Susie had more support to help her take care of Kail. She had a lot of family, she had some rich family members and everything. But Kail talks about growing up poor, not really having much to eat, not getting new clothes and stuff. So if Boozy Susie had all these great connections to help raise his daughter and stuff, why was his daughter growing up without? Why was she growing up in poverty then, right? Like, that's something that I just do not understand personally, but I digress. And we talked about this in a past podcast recap, but her father had told her essentially that she's got all sorts of half siblings across Vietnam, and she took it seriously, but apparently it was some sort of a wartime joke. So apparently her father is a veteran of some sort, and I guess veterans, and this is something that you hear about, right? Like when they go to these different countries, especially, Asian countries or whatever, they're knocking up these women, having these babies and bouncing on them and just leaving them behind, right? In Vietnam and the Philippines and Japan, all these places. And so he was joking about that, but Kail had him take a DNA test nonetheless, so she could make sure that she doesn't have all these random siblings everywhere. And also because she wanted to know who his actual biological parents were, because apparently there are rumors that who he thinks are his parents are not his actual parents. FYI. And now her sister, I think her sister's name was Michaela, actually wants her to go and find her mom next. She's been estranged from her mom for a very, very long time. The last time we saw her talk to her mom was on camera when her mom kind of effed up babysitting one of her kids or something like that. Yeah, Acacia, she came to your state, baby girl. I hope you put your shutters down. But thankfully, she is back to Delaware. Amoy says, going to start commenting. I love that. Hang on, let me zoom in and see your picture, Amoy. This looks like a really were you at a museum or something? Really lovely. Oh, she's a graduate. Okay. School of Law. Okay, girl. Whoa, get into it. Thanks, Amoy. Oh my God, we would love your legal takes too. I'm always asking for a legal eagle over here. You guys, look, we got a legal eagle named Amoy in the building. Thanks so much for coming out of the bushes, boo. Woody says, that's okay, but why did she have to film such a... Exactly. None of it makes any kind of sense. Let's see what you guys... Yes, so her father can barely talk, breathe. She said for him to speak long sentences or whatever was a really, really difficult thing for him. I can't remember why she said he was in hospice. Let me look through my notes because this was a past podcast. This was a past podcast episode that I probably recapped a couple months ago or something like that. Let me see. I'm not seeing it in my notes app here, but maybe I have it in my notes app on my cellular device. If I search hospice, I should see something pop up. Voila. He's in hospice. But why? He has stage 4 COPD. Can someone remind me what that is? What is COPD? You know who I'm going to ask? I'm going to ask my girl, ChatGPT. What is stage 4 COPD? What's she going to tell me? Stage 4 COPD is the most severe stage of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Doctors sometimes call it very severe COPD or end stage COPD. Here's what it means. Lung function. At this stage, the amount of air you can forcefully blow out in 1 second is less than 30%. Can you imagine that? You can barely breathe. Less than 30% of what you should be breathing. Lord. Oh my God. And it also is linked to chronic respiratory failure as well. So extreme shortness of breath, even while resting, severe coughing and wheezing, very low exercise tolerance, frequent flare-ups, fatigue, weight loss, swelling, and stuff like that as well. Her father is very, very, very unwell, unfortunately. And so you know what? Listen, I think she was smart to go up there, get her answers. Oh, she was also pissed. Y'all. She said one of her baby daddies. We all know this is the hobby, right? Because they're beefing hard right now. Or maybe it was Chris. One of her baby daddies said, why are you leaving my kids behind? Because remember, she didn't want these kids to stay with their fathers while she went to Texas. They were staying with a random babysitter or a friend or something. I think it was a babysitter. And so the father's like, why is my child with a babysitter while you're out frolicking in Texas with a man that you don't even know? You only met him once. I get he's your dad, but you don't know that man. Why isn't my kid not with me type of vibes, So she was really upset about that. And she said that that made her cry. Winnie says it's not fair to put it all on her dad. Dads sometimes aren't ready for parenthood either. They don't have the option to divorce or place for adoption. I feel like it's a very big double standard there. But listen, abstinence is an option for them. But they always want to, put it down. And how many times are these men trying to raw dog you? Just saying. I'm just saying. A lot of them are trying to raw dog it, knowing that they don't have the same options. So I have a hard time feeling sorry for them. Just saying. Okay, she says, not Kail's dad lying. That's the way she went in. She said, not you dying. Come on, let me set up my podcast. Deathbed Chronicles. Like, she's so unserious. It's absolutely crazy, 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 crazy. But, again, when somebody was not there for your life or whatever, it's very hard to have like that kind of like link or connection or emotional depth or whatever that you would expect from a regular father or daughter situation, right? And that's the fault of her father. One says, I have 3 friends with traumatic. Oh no, ouch, traumatic. I'm so sorry. Brain injuries. The effects are quite different for each of them. They all have bad days and good days. I can't even imagine. And anytime I think about traumatic brain injuries, I think about Katie from Vanderpump Rules and all that she went through after that big, 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 big shocking accident where she fell through the skylight. Hey, Paris. So nice to see you. And me too. I'm so, so happy. Je suis contente d'être de retour. Did you hear? I'm going to be going, where did I say I was going? I'm going to Montmartre ce soir, tonight, to enjoy the little festival out there. I'm going to share it with you guys on Instagram. I'm going with my American friend, actually. So I have this American friend. She's so lovely, and she was only here for 3 months. And so she's been testing it every year. She comes for 3 to 6 months. So 3 months in, 3 months out, then 3 months again, because that's like the typical American visa, right? And so now she says she wants to get a real visa to come and actually live here. So she's going to go back. Elle va préparer son dossier. She's going to prepare her dossier to apply for a proper visa. And so I really do hope she gets it, and that she comes, she gets to come back and live here. Actually took Isaac. Oh yeah. And she took, I'm like, Isaac Sr. Oh, her new boyfriend. She took Black Isaac with her to Texas. That man lives with her, y'all. Thanks, Jaleesa, for that. Thank you for reminding me. He was taking selfies in the same mirror. It's speaking of these selfies, there's something that Kail does that pisses me off. And it's so petty to be pissed off by this, but it's true. Let me tell you guys what this girl does. It's so annoying. She will wear the most basic of basic outfits, right? She will wear a graphic t-shirt and some black shorts, and she'd be like, link to buy this outfit. What? It's like leggings. You're wearing a plain t-shirt and you're wearing leggings. What are you talking about? And look, she's doing it again. So here she is. Do you guys see her? She's in a graphic t-shirt and she's in leggings. She'll always be like, oh, click here to buy this. What is this? What is so groundbreaking about? Anyway, I don't get it, but I digress. So she was doing that. I'm going to visit my dad, link to buy this outfit. And it's a t-shirt and leggings. You can get those anywhere. So that's the mirror I'm talking about. She was posting that outfit from there. And then her boyfriend, who is on her payroll, Isaac, as Jaleesa says, Isaac Sr. Replacement Isaac, because now the other one can't go by Isaac anymore because the latest, potential future baby daddy, if she goes down the surrogacy route or whatever, IVF route, is also named Isaac. It's also ridiculous. Just saying. Jaleesa. Gwen says, yeah, Kiefer is more fun. The only thing I can say is the Barb accent. What is this Kiefer stuff going on in the live chat? I love it, by the way, you guys. Absolutely hilarious. And mind you, don't forget, you guys, this is my morning report that I filmed when I was in Ottawa. But exactly, Kalia, this stuff, you can get it at Walmart. I get my leggings at Primark. Like, these are not, and I'm sorry, maybe it's like the Parisian in me, but like, are people actually walking around outside like this? Like, these like legging shorts to me are for the gym or for the house. Like, walking around like that with a no, are you kidding me? They'll kick me out of the city. You don't see people dressed like that here. Money says Kail sells her used clothes on Posh. Really, it's such a basic clothes you can get for like $5. I don't get it. Can I ask, Americans, do y'all have Primark? Is that a thing for you guys? I don't know, but I love it so much. Yeah. So I was telling you guys in Ottawa, I was filming about how her new boyfriend, AKA Isaac Sr., as our girl Jaleesa says, he has Isaac and Lincoln's names tattooed on him. Isn't that crazy? And she finds that to be normal. And she was showing that off on social media. And they've been dating for a couple of months. I think they've been dating since like at least February, March, I'll say. Very weird. Acacia says Kail still stays trying to get the bag, period. Period, 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 period. Dying dad be damned. Mocha says she's looking like she's always wearing her long. And that's what it is. I'm like, are you really actually walking around outside like this? No, you got to get dressed when you go outside. What is this? I don't get it. Like, exactly. That's Black Isaac. Isaac, you didn't have to change your name. We could have just called the other one Black Isaac, baby. I'm sorry. I don't like, what is it that he goes by now? What is it? Elliot. Listen, the name Elliot is nice, but this is Isaac. The fact that we got to change this child's name because she's got her latest boyfriend with the same name is just so ridiculous. This story is the story about that they're trying to sell about Isaac changing his name coincidentally. Now that she's got this new boyfriend named Isaac, is about as believable as Farrah's sex tape story. Please, if you believe anything that they're telling you, I have got a bridge to sell you. Oh, Tamara. Oh, I miss Costco. Guys, I did not have time when I was in Canada. I didn't even get to go to Dairy Queen. I wanted a Costco pizza and a Costco poutine, but I did not have time. Oh, I'm going to cry thinking about Costco. They do have some good legging. Oh, I love a good legging, you guys. I love a good cheap legging. Yes, I love Costco. I miss that place. I think it's been like 2-3 years since I've been. Oh, they do have Costco's in the suburbs of Paris, but it's too far for me. I would need. Oh, hey, Esther. Did I miss the Kail jail? She ain't going to jail, Bill. But we are talking about her. And if you want to pop back to where we started, it was 38 minutes and 15 seconds. Okay, that's 38 minutes and 15 seconds was when we started the Kail story. Winnie the Cat says she's probably dating him. Yeah, she was. Because when you look at the dates of when she was messaging on his like TikToks and stuff, it was right around the time of like the cheating scandal, which to me, like, I don't believe the cheating scandal. I think, they might've had an agreement or something like that going on. I don't buy it. We all listen from the podcast and everything. We knew she was not really truly in love with that Elijah guy, right? So everybody says we do have Primark. Oh, there you go. I love Primark. I love the leggings at Primark. I love their like pajamas as well. Me and my friend, we have this tradition where we'll go to Primark whenever we have our sleepover. So maybe in a year, we'll have like 3-4 sleepovers. We go to Primark, we buy our little jammies, and then we have like these cute, and our candles. And then we have this like cute little sleepover. Claire says Poshmark. Yes. They have here we have Vinted, which is kind of like a similar equivalent. I saw some of my stuff on Vinted. I was actually just talking about it this afternoon on how I need to sell some more things. The equivalent for us in Canada to TJ Maxx, summaries, it would be Winners or Marshalls. I was a Winners girly. I'm happy that I did get to go to Winners, by the way, though. And they have really cute jewelry. I really, really love them. Really, really do. Money Swapper said, don't forget Deathbed Chronicles. Exactly, right? Deathbed Chronicles and Black Isaac. Listen, Kail truly is the gift that keeps on giving, right? What? He doesn't have their names tattooed. That picture is real. That's Kail's arm. Hang on. Are you serious? Hang on. So he was just trolling. Let me see. Kail Isaac tattoo. Finally caught another live. Yes. And I'm so happy to have you here. And thank you so much, Francine. Thank you. Slowly getting better day by day. So thank you so much for your message. Yes, Jaleesa's a Primark girly too. And listen, when you come here in Paris, you should know Primark. All you have to do is get on the 8 line on the metro, and maybe you ride that line for about, I don't know how much time, maybe from the center it's about 40 minutes, and you're directly at Primark out in Créteil. Voila. A real one. I have to go back and keep looking at this, but thank you so much for the heads up. Who gave me the heads up? Lauren. Okay. Is it Marshalls and TJ Maxx sisters? I think so. Yeah. I consider Marshalls, TJ Maxx, and Winners all to be pretty much the same thing. And I agree. Honestly, I think she and Isaac had an arrangement. She was not in love with that man at all. Hang on. She's right. That's Kail's arm. Lord have mercy. So I'm looking at it now on my girl Team Mom Chatters page. That's Kail's arm. Lord have mercy. With the Isaac tattoo. So he was trolling people. He wanted to pass it as the inverse. But that's the thing. I think this guy might become a problem, right? Like, I think for now he's pretending that he's not really into the fame. That's similar to what Chris was doing, right? And then what happens eventually? Chris now, all he does is go live like multiple times a week talking about this girl. So be careful, be careful. Esther says she probably knew. Yeah, and started dating the other Isaac. I can't imagine calling him Daddy Isaac, and he has my son's name. Oh, I know. Well, listen, that's why you got to change your son's name. Sorry, sorry to this child, but you got to respect your elders. We're changing your name, little thing. That's what happened. Just saying. Now, you guys, listen, I do have to go, but I had a great time chatting with you guys again, and I'm looking forward to being back next week for all new episodes of The Morning Report every single weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to give this stream a thumbs up if you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you next time, okay? On the way out, I got a word from some of our sponsors, so you know what we've got going on. And I'll catch you soon. Have a great weekend. And don't forget, I'll be sharing some of my content from my visit to Montmartre ce soir, okay, this evening. Bisous, ciao. The Morning Report is brought to you by Philo. Watch your favorite shows and movies from over 70 different channels, including MTV, TLC, WeTV, and more for only $28 a month. Get a free trial today by clicking the link in the description box of this video to get your free trial up and running. Tired of learning languages in boring, frustrating ways? Try TalkPal. TalkPal is your personal AI language tutor. It teaches you languages in fun, engaging ways. It gives you real-time feedback, assesses your pronunciation, and the learning process is personalized just for you. Join millions of other learners and start your language learning journey today.